Welcome back to the show. So Dan, we're heading to New Orleans this week, New Orleans, Louisiana. I thought I would pay homage to the Sazerac cocktail, having a little baby Saz. Fantastic pour, by the way, if you can get your hands on it.
Oh, yeah.
And we're heading to the Zurich Classic, TPC Louisiana. I feel like we're broken records at this point, another Pete Dye design. As previously mentioned, I'm wondering if these golfers have a little bit of a Dye hangover coming on to their 6 Dye golf course in 3 months. I don't know. We'll see. So this week's going to be a little bit. This Sazerac rye is so tasty. I'm almost getting like a little green tea on the palate on this one.
Oh, are you? That's good.
I know it's supposed to be a golf show, and now I'm talking about booze again. So it's TPC Louisiana. It's a par 72. Is it difficult? Well, it's going to set up and be what does PB like to say? The course has got VD. It's visually distracting. So all the classic Dye elements are going to show up here once again. We just came off of Harbor Town, which was a Pete Dye design. And then prior to that, I think the other most recent was TPC Sawgrass. So again, I think we're 4 weeks here, and we've got three Dye courses in a row. Distance wise, so we're coming off of a Harbor Town, which was, I think, just over 7,100. We're coming into TPC Louisiana, which is 7,400 yards. And, not a lot of elevation changes that are going to go on here. So it's going to be interesting. The more interesting, well, we'll get into the DraftKings piece of it in a second, but, the interesting part is this is going to be a teamed event. So you're going to have 2 players playing in teams. And if I can make it to my notes, I'll give you the rundown on how that's going to work. So on Thursday, so rounds 1 and 3, it's going to be a 4-ball setup or best ball, and rounds 2 and 4 are going to be foursomes alternate shot. So let's see who's their first one. Let's pick on. So Rahm and Palmer, they're paired up, right? So in the 4-ball best ball, both players are going to play their ball tee to green, hole out, and then whoever has the best score, that'll be recorded for the team. So Rahm shoots a par, Palmer shoots birdie. That's a team score of birdie for Rahm and Palmer.
Right.
So rounds 2 and 4 are going to be alternate shot. So one player is going to pick odd numbers. One player is going to pick even numbers. So Rahm picks odd, Palmer picks even. Rahm tees off on every odd hole. Palmer tees off on every even hole. So hole number 1, Rahm tees off. Palmer hits the second shot. Rahm hits the third shot, etc.
And then Dan Eagles.
Exactly. Hey, you just made it more confusing. I can't even keep up with this stuff. I'm definitely going to need a drink after this. So it's alternate shot, right? And again, it's a set format in who's going to tee off on every hole. So a little bit of strategy there.
Yeah.
And cool. So it should be fun. It's going to be kind of interesting. This is the first year that they've had the DraftKings. It's the first time that DraftKings has actually had a game on it. So it's going to be a little bit new. But before I get too far into that, we'll talk a little more about the course. I believe there's over 100 bunkers on the course. So here's an interesting thing. So this went through a multi-million-dollar renovation in 2020. Mm-hmm. So they played this tournament last at TPC Louisiana in 2019. Didn't play it in 2020, went through its renovation. So this will be the first time that the course has actually seen tournament action. So we don't really know what it's going to look like. So the players, obviously there's some bones to the course or a foundation that they're building off of, but with 100 bunkers, I think water's in play on 8 or 9 holes, maybe more. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like. It's is it a long hitters course? We'll talk about some of the past champions in a minute, so you can kind of take from that what you will. A little bit challenging to find as they're measuring strokes gained on this. So when we're looking, when we get into the DraftKings piece, I'm going to be looking at Pete Dye design courses past 24 rounds and kind of make our bets on that. And let's see, what did we miss course wise, Dan?
You catched everything, and a lot of water, right?
Yep. A lot of water.
Yep.
Greens, it's not going to be the tradition. Well, last week was at Harbor Town. I mean, those are the smallest greens on tour, so they're going to get a little bit of relief from that.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah.
It should be fun. I think this is the only team event that they have on tour, so it should be fun in the sense of who's paired with who, and we'll get into a little. Well, we can get into a little bit of that now if you want to. I'll tell you what. Let's talk about past champions. If I can get to my notes. So 2019, Rahm and Palmer, they're showing up again. Billy Horschel, Scott Piercy in 2018. Notable, Billy Horschel also won here at this course in a solo event. And Cameron Smith and Jonas Blixt, 2017. Again, Cameron Smith, hey, there's great fishing down in Louisiana. I would suggest you take the pole and get a few rounds in. Get a few casts in before the round, because it definitely could be advantageous to at least it was on your Saturday round, that's for sure. So who's coming in? So not surprising, Rahm and Palmer are coming in as the favorites, followed by Schauffele, Cantlay, Smith, Leishman. Got a little Aussie pairing there. Finau and Champ. So I think one of the things that are going to be interesting, well, when you're going in to set your lineup, and this was kind of Dan and I, when we set our lineups earlier, we set our lineups and we talked about the lineup. So it was it's really weird in how you're going to go for this, right? Because are you going for like a Rahm and a Palmer that maybe are complementing each other's game? So you've got, Palmer, while he's not short, I mean, he's definitely not the bomber that Rahm is. You look at somebody like a Finau and a Champ. I mean, both are just, bombers off the tee. And is it going to screw them up a little bit? I mean, I tell you who wouldn't want to be in their shoes. I wouldn't want to be in Collin Morikawa's shoes, teeing it up with Matt Wolff, because I don't know really how that one's going to go. But I like that Schauffele Cantlay. I think that's really good. I think Schauffele's got the most runner-up finishes on tour this season. So Cantlay's got a victory. And is that going to kind of bode well for him? I feel like those two guys will be able to play well off of each other. Obviously, Rahm and Palmer will. They won it last year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Bubba Watson and Scheffler, right? So, looking at what Scheffler did at the match play event, looked really, really solid. And, but here's the thing that I would want to say that Watson and Scheffler look good on paper, but then I'm thinking, well, Scheffler hits a lot of fairways. And when it comes to alternate shot, and that's where this thing is going to be won, right? The best ball, that's going to be fine. I mean, some people are going to be able to carry others, and I don't think we're going to see any challenges there. But I think where the real challenge is going to happen is with like a Watson and Scheffler. And how's Scheffler, when it comes to alternate shot, how's he going to manage hitting out of the woods that Bubba tends to hit? I mean, but seriously, right? I mean, there's a chance when it's alternate shot, whatever they pick, odd or even, Scheffler may not be hitting out of a lot of fairways. So, I think that's a little bit of a struggle. Grayson Varner. I mean, what are we going to see there? I don't know. I wouldn't call Varner necessarily the longest hitter off the tee. We'll have to go back and look and see what Grace looks like off the tee and see what he's averaging, because that may not be a bad pairing either. Horschel and Burns, right? So you've got Billy. He may be the first. I think. You can quote me, but it could be wrong. I think if Horschel wins this, he'll be the first player to win a solo tournament, and if he wins this tournament, he'll be the only to win multiple team events on the same course while also winning a solo tournament.
So is he like, he's like a Phil Collins or who else? Clapton?
Hold on. I got, shit. He's a Beatle. Come on.
He's a Beatle.
Not Lennon. McCartney. He's a McCartney.
He's McCartney.
He's a McCartney, man. Yeah. I guess he's, or maybe a Lennon, you give me a tuber and I'll get you something out of it. But yeah, but lots of interesting matchups or pairings in this. And some of these I'm kind of scratching my head wondering, how did they get to Chris Kirk, Brendan Todd? I mean, that's pretty interesting. Danny Willett.
That's actually pretty good, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, Danny Willett,
Mm-hmm.
Tyrrell Hatton, Keegan Bradley and Steele. I don't want to give anything away yet before we get to the DraftKings side, but that Keegan and Steele, I really like that. I think those guys are going to complement each other quite nice. Homa and Gooch. Henrik Stinson probably playing the best golf he's played in a year, and we saw what Justin Rose did at the Masters. I think that's pretty solid. Oosthuizen and Schwartzel, I mean, that's two peas in a pod right there. I mean, those guys are team players from way back. You know why they're playing together? Because they always play together. Team Oklahoma of Hovland and Ventura. Are they going to be able to feed off of some of that? Who's my guy? Oh, so back to Billy O and Sam Burns. I believe Sam Burns is a native is a Louisiana native, played at LSU. Are they going to be able to keep him off Bourbon Street? Now, this is not in New Orleans proper. It's, it's in a parish outside of New Orleans, but I'm thinking, it's a little bit of a homecoming for Burns. So is he going to be able to feed off of that, or is it going to drain him because it's now granted with this tournament, the winners, it's a 2-year tournament exemption, which I think there's a few other folks when we get into the DraftKings piece, I'll talk about how they may play off of that a little better than others. But yeah, 2 years player exemption for the winner, which once again, Ricky Fowler, why didn't you call up one of your boys?
Yeah, you could have called Spieth or JT and played, right?
It's like, hey man, we are showing up to this thing.
It's like tag team. Hey, Spieth, get in there. Come on.
I need a hall pass. Let's see who else is in here. Brown and Kisner. Kisner, I believe they were second. What were they? Runner up. Kisner and Brown. And by the way, if you don't know Kisner and Brown, those guys play tournaments. They play practice rounds regularly before the tournaments. It is alleged that they take a lot of money in the practice rounds. And okay, here we go. 2017, you got Kisner and Brown lost to Cameron and Blixt, and who Billy Horschel and Billy and Piercy in 18 lost to Duffner and Pat Perez. By the way, Jason Kokrak and Pat Perez, if I were going to the tournament, I would bird dog those folks and I would follow them around the whole damn time, because that is probably going to be the most fun group to watch. Can you imagine the jawing that's going to be going on in that?
I would like to see those two playing along Watson and Scheffler.
That would be good. I don't know if they'd have time to hit a ball with all the noise they'd be making. Interesting enough, Sergio Garcia and Tommy Fleetwood, runners up last in 2019. Neither one of them are at this tournament.
Yeah, that's a little strange, right?
Everybody else, the past 3 years at least, they were here. Let's see. So we covered that. Avondale, Louisiana, by the way, is the town that it's in. Bermuda grass tee to green. Yeah, so I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear how everybody else is setting up their DraftKings lineups. Again, looking at Fantasy National, there's, I'll say there are no stats for the Zurich Classic, so you can't actually go back to this tournament and look at stats. You can go and look at recent form for Pete Dye courses, or you can go back and look at TPC, but not specific to the Zurich. So
I'm kind of surprised at some of this pricing, aren't you? Like Kokrak at $8,300 to Pat Perez. That's pretty dang cheap. Kokrak's been playing pretty good golf.
Well, not only that, I mean, consider this. So you got Kokrak that's priced there, and then look at let me sort over here on Fantasy National. Look at Matt Wolff at 11,300. Not paired with Morikawa, then no way that's happening.
Yeah.
Sam Burns at 10-5 playing.
What brings me to my point, right? So look at Morikawa and Wolff, right? We know Wolff has not been playing well. He's not in great form. 11,300, and then you got Kokrak, down there. Like what did I say? It was 80 something hundred. And it's like Kokrak's been playing really good golf. I know he's not Collin Morikawa, but he's kind of been playing like lots of top tens and everything.
Well, and paired with Pat Perez, that plays really well at this golf course. Again, runner up in. I don't know. I said it a minute ago, but runner-up in 2018, I believe. So yeah, I mean, it kind of goes to show it's definitely screwy in the way. I'm glad that they've got it out there. It's going to be a fun. It was stressful is not the right word to use. It was difficult picking because you're looking at some of these guys and it's like, I don't want to pay that much money for that guy, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Because so we got 80 teams, top 35 and ties. We'll move on to the weekend. So we'll at least see one round of each of best ball and then alternate shot. So I hope Bubba makes it to the weekend just to see. I want to see how many rough spots he can put Scheffler in. And then I want to fast forward and make a note to say, how many times does Scheffler play with Bubba Watson in a team event again?
Who are you shocked that's not here? Like JT and Spieth together?
Ricky Fowler.
And seriously though, like JT and Spieth are playing really good golf right now.
Yeah, and I would say that they're both good team golfers. Who was who did Patrick play with for a couple of years, and he had some good runs here?
Who, Reed?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would think Spieth for Ryder Cup kind of stuff.
Well, Sergio and Fleetwood, man, from runner-up last year. I'm surprised they're not here. Rory Sabatini and Brian Gay in 2019 were T3. Where's Sabatini at? I didn't see him in there.
Yeah.
Kisner and Brown again are there. They're holding on to each other tight. Ian Poulter. He was T9 in 2019.
Wouldn't it be fun to see like Bryson and Morikawa together?
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know, other than a forced event like a President or Ryder Cup, I don't think that we're going to see Bryson in any. And I could be wrong. Maybe they're already out there, but in these elective events, I don't think anybody's playing with Bryson.
But like the longest driver on the tour, and then the best iron player on tour. Teamed up.
So that's, yes, it would be, but that's why I'm saying I don't know that that's necessarily the best strategy, right? Because it works out really well when it's Bryson's tee, when it's Bryson's tee shot. But then when you've got who'd you say?
Morikawa.
Yeah, and then you got Morikawa teeing off, and then you've got Bryson, 80 yards short of where he would typically hit into the green. What's that going to do to him, right? And then Bryson, I'm going to say he can be kind of, if he's got a weak part of his game, it's probably his putter. So, does that, and Morikawa, we saw what happened to him over the weekend.
I thought it was Augusta.
Yeah, it's probably not the wrong thing to say.
Just kidding.
Let's see. Corey Connors, I didn't see him in the field this week.
Yeah.
He's probably tired.
All right. So where are you starting at?
I am starting. I don't have anybody in the elite tiers. So in the elite tiers, you got Patrick and Xander, Rahm, Palmer, Morikawa, Wolff, Leishman, and Smith. Which if that Aussie team wasn't $11,000, I'd have probably started there, but I didn't. Watson and Scheffler. I thought about it until I just mentioned that Scheffler's going to be hitting some shots that he never has to hit on the golf course.
So if Cantlay wouldn't have stood you up the last couple of weeks, would you have taken him?
In my mind, that's the team to beat. I think that's, but I mean, again, what's Cantlay done the past couple of weeks? But this is going to be a whole different format coming into, a traditional golf tournament. So yeah, maybe I think that very, on paper, just coming into this thing, I would say everybody else is going to think that that's the case too. So I'd say they're pretty heavy chalk on Cantlay and Schauffele. Watson and go ahead. Sorry.
I started mine at 9,300.
Let's see, 93. Well, I started a little earlier than that, I believe.
Go ahead.
Hold on, I'm just trying to get down. Actually, I started 9,300 also.
Okay.
Keegan Bradley and
Mm-hmm.
Brendan Steele.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. But what do you want me to say? Steele 2 top 5s this season. He hasn't missed a cut. Keegan and Steele, they're regularly playing practice rounds together. I think these are 2 guys that can make a lot of birdies. They know each other's game. I think that's going to bode well from an alternate shot perspective. Keegan's got 3 top 25s on the season. Here's the thing. I think that if Keegan shows up and he can just not miss as many putts as he's been missing, I think that's the team. That's the team to beat for me. Not on paper. That's the team to beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't disagree more. That's why I picked him there as well. I thought Keegan's been playing great golf, Steele as well. And I mean, for that price point, that's where I wanted to start. I played around with it earlier before coming up with this particular lineup. And I felt when I went higher, if I was going to go for a Cantlay and a Schauffele and start there, it really restricted what I could do down the pricing or whatnot. So that's why I started at that $9,300 mark. It got a little tough if you started really high.
Yeah, I was just looking to see where they finished at here in the past. I think Keegan plays well here. So, yeah. All right, number 2. Yeah, I don't know where you're going to next. So,
I went to my 2 guys at $9,200, and neither one of them have played here, so they're great picks. Tom Lewis and the Toms.
Tom squared.
Tom squared. I went for Tom squared. Yeah. Tom Lewis and Thomas Peters. You look at, this is Tom Lewis, Heritage last week, 25th, 54th at Valero, 56th at Corrales Punta 36th at the Honda. And then you look at Thomas Peters. He was 13th at Corrales, 15th at the Puerto Rico Open, 23rd at the U.S. Open. That was last year. But last 2 starts, 13th and 15th, so not bad. I mean, I think they're playing pretty good golf right now. I like the price point. I think they can pair well here.
Yep, I'm totally with you. I think that's a sleeper pick. I don't know if they're going to be heavily played, but yeah, I think good things could come from there. My friend, went to Mr. Damon and Lanto Griffin at $9,000. Joel Damon coming in off of a recent victory. I think there's going to be some chemistry there with those 2 guys. I guess, if anything, the Bermuda may not bode well for 74th at Valero. First, he won Corrales Punta Cana. We won't talk about prior to that because he did kind of have a little bit of a cold streak. That being said, Lanto Griffin, he missed the Masters, 35th at the Players, 34th at Valero, 21st API. So I feel like Lanto and Damon, I feel like there's going to be some great chemistry there, man. So that's really where I'm going. And again, I think you either got to compliment the player or you got to have good chemistry. And I feel like that's going to be the case in both for Damon and Griffin.
Yeah, they've been on hot streaks. Absolutely good pick, man. I went for the Hoff and Nick Watney. Starting with the Hoff, he was 16th at the RBC, second at Valero, 34th Corrales, 17th at the Players. I mean, we know the hot streak, right? 10th at API, just been striking the ball so well. At the Heritage last week, tee to green, he gained 3.1 shots on the field. He was 3.2 around the green, 3 putting. So everything in his game's doing really good. And then if you look at Nick Watney, again, playing partner, so not that great. But I think as a team, I think they can do all right. So yeah, probably not a great pick.
Charlie Hoffman probably playing some of the best golf he's played in quite some time.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yes. Yeah, I'm hoping he pulls that team up.
I think you got good chemistry there for those guys. So I feel like that's a good pick. I'm going to the most entertaining team on the golf course, which is going to make it to the weekend. Jason Kokrak and Pat Perez. They're going to have a good time. The chemistry is going to be flowing out there. Let's see. Kokrak, 49th at the Masters, 9th at the Players, also a Pete Dye course, 8th at the Palmer, 9th at the WGC Mexico. So I'm liking where Kokrak's game's at. I think he'll I think he's going to pull something out of Pat Perez, which plays good at this golf course, by the way. I feel like I don't know that it's theirs for the taking, but I do like him for a top 5. He did miss Heritage. He missed the cut at Heritage, 67 Valero, 48th at Corrales, 48th at the Honda, and missed the cut at the Players. I don't know why this one suits his eye better from a Pete Dye design than the others do, but hey, it does.
I went to 8,000 for Tringali and Castro. Tringali, 17 rounds at this course, and he's got awesome numbers with the exception of off the tee. But shots gained total, he's 4th in this field, 2nd tee to green, 4th ball striking, 13th around the green, 1st on approach, 2nd around the green, and then 1st in DK points. So, I mean, you talk about a stud at this place. And then Castro, tee to green, 21st, ball striking 20th, off the tee 38th, approach 18th, and then not a good putter, and 53rd in DraftKings points. But then if you look at some past history, for Castro, 18th at Corrales, 39th at the Puerto Rico Open, and not very good after that. But again, 2 good starts in a row for him. And then from a Tringali perspective, last couple starts, 9th at Valero, 13th at Honda, missed a cut at the Players, 31st at API, 26th Genesis, 7th AT&T.
Thanks for playing out of turn. That's a 1-stroke penalty, by the way. Doug,
should I give you my nah?
I went Doug Gim and Justin So here's the deal. So as I mentioned earlier, you get a 2-year exemption here. I think these guys are definitely they're going to spend some time on tour. That 2-year exemption is going to carry a lot of weight. I think they're going to come in with some passion for, hey, we need this. Are they going to win it? I don't think so. Top 25. I like them for top 20. And again, there's a lot of motivation for these guys to come in strong. So with Gim, 33 at RBC, 44th at Valero, 29th at the Players. So he does tend to favor Pete Dye courses. And then with 28th Punta Cana, 35th at the Puerto Rico Open. The good news is there's water around a lot of water on the course. So I feel like give him some water and he likes it. So I think Gim's going to be playing hard for his partner, and I like them in my lineup.
I'm down to 7,600.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, I took Gordon and Thompson. Love the way Thompson's been striking the ball. Definitely shown a lot of improvement over some past performance. He was 42nd last week, 34th at the Masters, 19th at the Honda, 48th at the Players, missed a cut at the Genesis, 34th at the AT&T. You look at Will Gordon, missed a cut last week, 78th at the Valero, 34th at Corrales, 36th at the Honda, 49th API, 22nd Puerto Rico, 21st AT&T. So not bad history there. And then if we look at the 2 of them, only Thompson's played here. He's played here 12 rounds. Not great stats, but again, I like the recent form with that guy.
Yeah, make it a double.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sitting there with you. I can't argue.
You made me do all the work.
I can't argue with anything those guys are doing. So my last and final, I've got Matthew NeSmith and Chase Seifert.
All right, I got a double on that one. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and Chase Seifert, obviously, the best stats out of the 2s, 5th in putting, 10th in DraftKings points, 6. He's ranked 6 total tee to green. And Chase was 42nd at RBC, 44 Valero, 18 Corrales, 3rd at the Honda, 15th at the Puerto Rico Open. Once again, give this man a Mai Tai, get him around water, and give him a golf course, and he knows how to play. NeSmith, 48th at the RBC, 34th at Valero. I feel like I'm reading like the stats are the same for each guy, which I think that's one reason why those guys are going to show up and play really well together. I think they're going to have a lot of chemistry on course. And again, looking at the previous winners, hey, it's not necessarily going to one of the top tier names out there. I mean, yeah, you got a draw on it, but he did miss the cut at the Players. I'm going to give him a pass on that one for the RBC. But yeah, Neesmith and Seifert, I think that is a extremely solid pairing at $7,500, and I didn't have to go any lower.
Yeah, exactly. So this week on the one and done, we're burning 2 people, right? That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? All right, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first.
All right, I am taking. Where's he at? I'm taking Rose and Stenson. Where are they at?
9 something.
Yeah, $9,500. So Rose has played here 18 times, 18 rounds. He is first shots gained total. He is first tee to green, first in ball striking, 28th short game, second off the tee, 4th on the approach, 4th around the green, 68th putting, and 3rd in DK points. Henrik Stinson has not played here. I think you and I were talking about him a little while ago in terms of recent form. So last week, at the Masters, he was 38th, which was a good showing for him. Not good before that. I'm not going to go into that history. But then Jay Rose, man, he's really kind of starting to pick it up a little bit as well himself. If we look at some of his past history, he was 7th at the Masters, 54th at Mexico, missed the cut at RSM, 23rd at the Masters last year. So he haven't played much between those 2 Masters, if you will. But, I mean, he turned some heads for me a couple weeks ago. And he's back with his coach. Back with the coach, right? Yeah,
he's back. Yeah, back with the coach. So we'll see how it goes. I got a feeling Cal's pulling ahead again, even farther in the one and done, because I'm going Keegan Bradley, Brendan Steele, both have 24 rounds here. Keegan Bradley, 4th in strokes gained total. He's 8th in ball striking. He's leading the field in approach, 36th in putting, and 16th in DraftKings points. And Brendan Steele, everything looks pretty good except for around the green. Keegan will take care of that from a ball striking perspective. So, yep, give me Keegan, give me Steele.
There you go.
I feel like that's a good porn name, Keegan Steele.
That's kind of like, there you go. Like that movie was it? Yeah, I forget the name of it. Yeah, the one with Mark Wahlberg.
No, Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights.
There you go.
Boogie Nights. Yeah. So it should be a fun tournament. It's definitely going to be an interesting format that we haven't seen in over a year. So I guess coming up on 2 years, and I'm looking forward to it. I think the tournament's going to be a lot more fun than it was trying to sift through and filter some of these names that usually don't sit at the price tag that they came in at. But I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to drinking some more of this baby Saz too. This stuff is tasty.
There you go.
Very tasty. What did we miss, Dan?
What do we got coming up on the show this week? Let's take a look.
Let's see. Well, we got to record it, so we're gonna move from this Sazerac baby Saz rye. We're gonna be enjoying some Holmes Key rum. We got a few expressions we're gonna try with those folks on the show. So that's going to be a fun one.
I think we're going to release Craig Foster. I know that.
Dynaline putting. That's going to be awesome. By the way, we do need to still get scheduled with him to get our putting lesson.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, we do.
Yeah, I know, right? Before we go, I mean, golf season, it's never really stopped for me, but but we got to get that scheduled. So that was a great chat with him, and just talking about the whole setup, and who Elkington was, kind of the guy that really embraced the Dynaline putting process. And it was really, really great chat, and just talking about, the whole putting setup, and definitely talked about a few golfers out there and kind of what they're doing, and not what they're doing wrong. It wasn't judgmental. It was more constructive, and, what do you do to get better? So, so should be good times, man. Good shows coming up. Got we got a lot of booze people coming on. We've got some more golf content coming on. I think we've got a couple of PGA Tour players booked. So that should be some fun interactive conversation with them. Definitely some more distilleries, etc. So looking forward to it. Once again, thanks everybody that jumped on for our second major series barrel pick release. We really appreciate you getting that out. Those did go out today. So putter ho, hopefully they make it down. Hopefully they make it to you before you head to the Ocean Course. And I hope you play well there. Outside of that, man, I think it's a wrap.
There you go. All right, we're off.
Cheers.
Cheers.